Now, a person who believes they're always right, even when evidence shows they're wrong, is often described as dogmatic. Now, this term refers to someone who sticks to their beliefs, opinions, or principles without considering others' viewpoints or evidence to the contrary. Another term you might hear is infallibilist, which is a bit more formal but basically means the same thing. But when it comes to the topic of today's video, Kent Hovind, I prefer the word prick.
So the winner tonight, any and all people or places that use lies to teach evolution as if it's part of science.
Tell me I'm wrong. Now, if you remember, a few months ago I made a video, Kent Hovind Says All of Science is Wrong, and then Russ from Russ's Movie Corner got all upset and bent out of shape and spent over 7 hours replying to me. Well, Kent's only gone and one-upped himself, hasn't he? In this episode of Whack an Atheist, not only has he not selected one individual atheist to whack, but he's whacking all of science again. Well, let's be a little bit more accurate so that Russell doesn't get upset again. He's basically saying in this episode that anybody who teaches evolution or accepts that evolution is the most plausible explanation for how we've got to where we are today is a liar. Now, if that isn't the pot calling the kettle black, then I don't know what is. So let's have a look, shall we? Please subscribe.
I Googled, what are the best science centers in the United States?
Well, I honestly have no idea, but I do know what's not going to be on that list. Dinosaur Adventureland, because a science center, it is not. More of a cult compound from what I hear.
National Museum of Natural History in Washington, D.C. The 30 richest families of all time. Many of these folks have made a whole bunch of money. I mean, like hundreds of billions of dollars, which is fine. I don't begrudge that. But they use it to push the evolution religion by funding major science centers purposely to teach this dumb religion, okay? That's their cult.
And you'd know better than most what the structure of a cult is, wouldn't you, Ken?
He runs a dinosaur theme park in this little area we call the butt crack of Alabama. The admission is free, volunteers are paid in food, and they sleep there with their families and their kids, and it's religious. You see where I'm going here?
So are you honestly expecting people to buy that? Do you actually think that some of the richest people in the world are trying to hide the fact that the Earth is only 6,000 years old? For what possible reason? I mean, they're already the richest people in the world, so what's the upside for them? Apart from funding scientific research that has the potential to change the world, or at the very least give us a better understanding of the world we live in.
Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History, Smithsonian Human Origins Program, Human Evolution Evidence, Smithsonian Institute, Human Origins Initiative. What does it mean to be human? Human Evolution Evidence. This is the kind of stuff the Smithsonian teaches. Folks, you are lying. It is not true. There's no evidence for evolution. If you think there is, I'll debate the whole Smithsonian staff with half my brain tied behind my back. You give the best evidence for evolution, I'll tear it apart.
You couldn't tear apart a sheet of wet toilet paper, intellectually speaking, of course. And how arrogant does a man need to be? Well, I think that's self-evident, but how arrogant does Kent need to be to sit there and say with a straight face that he'll take on the staff of one of the world's foremost research centers in science with, what did he say, with half his brain tied behind his back? Now, usually at this point in a video, I would provide some sort of evidence that demonstrates that evolution is a fact, and I will, just not yet. You know, it'll take me a few minutes to get past Kent's arrogance.
Evidence of evolution. Let's see. Thousands of human fossils enable researchers and students to study changes that occurred in the brain and body size. This is the propaganda they're teaching at the Smithsonian.
How exactly is sharing scientific discoveries propaganda? Now, if you want to talk about someone aiming to influence people's opinions, emotions, attitudes, or behaviors, then you might want to start your search closer to home.
Timeline of dating methods. Wow. They invented different dating methods and how long ago they are supposed to tell how old things are. What does it mean to be human? They got Lucy, Australopithecus afarensis. All of these have been disproven years ago. You guys should know that, okay?
Really? Well, that's strange, because according to actual scientists, Lucy and Australopithecus are far from being disproven. In fact, they're a crucial part of understanding human evolution, which explains why you claim they've been disproven anyway. By who exactly? Was it a creation scientist, Ken? Was it? I bet it was.
Triceratops. What do they say about Triceratops? Beautiful fossil. From the geologic age, the Mesozoic Cretaceous. Guys, listen to me. Smithsonian, there is no such thing as a Cretaceous age.
So every paleontologist ever is wrong, but you were right, Ken. So things like rock formations, pollen and spores from microfossils that provide evidence of the change in plant life during the Cretaceous period. All wrong? What about geochemical evidence? Is that also wrong? So I would imagine that means that the asteroid impact evidence is also wrong. Now, the most famous event in the Cretaceous period is its end, marked by a massive asteroid impact. And evidence for this includes a worldwide layer of iridium-rich clay known as the KT boundary, or the Cretaceous Paleogene boundary, and the Chicxulub crater in Mexico. Now, this event is linked to the mass extinction that wiped out the dinosaurs and many other species on Earth. All wrong. Okay.
The whole geologic column does not exist anywhere. It's fiction. You guys are thinking the top layer is younger. Stop and think about it.
The geological column is a system that scientists use to understand the layering of rocks and the sequence of Earth's history. And it's considered accurate because it's based on multiple lines of evidence and methods that reinforce each other. Now, I don't know if it's a misunderstanding on your part, Kent, but the geological column isn't a single piece of evidence. It's multiple evidences which all back each other up. And as for you and what you believe, well...
You couldn't back up a phone, you cunt.
Where's that layer coming from? Outer space? Every layer of dirt on the Earth is the same age.
Well, how about you try to prove that then, Kent? And when I say prove it, I mean using the scientific method. You are not allowed to refer to the Bible because the Bible is just a storybook.
And they teach, oh yeah, it's millions of years old. No, it's not. Dinosaurs lived with Adam and Eve, okay? Noah took them on the ark. People have killed most of them, calling them dragons.
So as if Noah's Ark wasn't impossible enough anyway, I've made lots of videos about Noah's Ark, and there is no scenario where you could fit 2 of every living animal onto a wooden boat made by an old man and his kids. But anyway, so that's not impossible enough for Kent Hovind, to the point where he feels the need to add dinosaurs to Noah's Ark as well. And it's interesting that you mentioned Triceratops, Kent, because a Triceratops fossil is actually the youngest fossil that's ever been found in human history, and it was dated at 66 million years old.
What about this? 35,000 artifacts, 400,000 square feet, hands-on experiments and experiences. Volcanoes, the fires of creation. Earth is born, a planet born of fire. For billions of years, volcanoes have helped forge the world we know, from the continents to the air we breathe and even life itself.
Don't tell me, Ken. Lies. Propaganda. Fake.
This is propaganda. This is lying. It's not science.
Well, 2 out of 3 isn't bad, I suppose.
Early dinosaur cousin. Surprisingly crocodile-like. Again, more propaganda.
Oh, come on, Kent. At least try to make an effort. It's like you're giving up. You're no better than a flat earther that says it's fake because it looks fake.
Doze with our dinosaurs. Okay? Bobby, we could do this. Have kids come, groups come, spend the night in the museum. Play with the dinosaurs.
Quick PSA. Do not let your kids go anywhere near Dinosaur Adventureland. Why? Well, there's a couple of reasons that spring to my mind.
California Academy of Science. World's largest dinosaur. What do they teach about the dinosaur? Let's see here. Experience an exhibition 200 million years in the making. That is propaganda. That's not science.
Now, usually on this channel, when I come across or get sent a video that I want to make a response to, I have to do an awful lot of reading just to make sure that I'm not speaking in terms which are as ignorant as the person I'm making the video about. But I can't help but notice that so far in this video, Kent, all you've done is identify science centers from across America and say that's fake or that's propaganda. You have not done one single solitary thing to try and refute any of the information that those scientific research centres provide. I don't really know why that surprises me, because let's be honest about it, the people that watch your video and more importantly agree with the things you say are not exactly the sharpest tools in the box, are they?
Okay. Evidence for evolution. What do they give? During and since Darwin's time, people have been looking for and studying evidence in nature that teaches them more about evolution. This is propaganda sentence, okay?
Yeah, we get it, Kent. You think it's all propaganda. You don't have to keep repeating yourself.
Some types of evidence, such as fossils, guys, no fossil can count as evidence for evolution. None. When you find fossils, a bone in the dirt or a clam, all you could really prove is it died. You could not prove it had any kids that lived. You could not prove it was changing to something else. No animal today is changing to something else. That's propaganda.
Okay, so what about transitional fossils then? Are they also fake? Now, transitional fossils are like snapshots of evolution. They're remains of creatures that lived in the past, showing a blend of features from both their ancestors and more modern forms. Think of them like a family photo album showing generational change. For example, Archaeopteryx is a fossil that has both bird-like features, feathers and wings, and dinosaur characteristics, bridging the gap between birds and their dinosaur ancestors. Now, these fossils are not random. They appear in a consistent order in the geological record, showing a timeline of gradual changes from one form to another. And this sequence matches what we'd expect if a species evolved.
One type of evidence for evolution is called embryology. Let's see. A embryo is an unborn or unhatched animal or human young at its earliest phases. Embryos in many different kinds of animals, mammals, birds, reptiles, look very similar, and it's often difficult to tell them apart. Many traits of one type of animal appear in the embryo of another type of animal. For example, fish embryos and human embryos have gill slits. You folks at California Museum are lying or stupid. This was proven wrong in 1875.
And I suppose an explanation about who proved it wrong and how they did so is too much to ask?
It's not true. Let me give you the history here. What slide number am I on? 66.
66?
Execute Order 66.
Does embryology prove evolution?
Well, I don't know if prove is the right word to use, but it certainly supports evolution. Many organisms go through similar early developmental stages, reflecting a common ancestry. For example, vertebrate embryos, including fish, humans, and reptiles, share early features like pharyngeal pouches and tail structures. And these similarities suggest the diverse species evolved from common ancestors and retain these developmental blueprints. Now, during development, some species exhibit structures that are prominent in the embryos of others, or their ancestors, but become reduced or modified by the time of birth.
Whale and fish embryos resemble each other because human and fish share a common ancestor. Or human and fish embryos, okay. Darwin considered this the strongest class of facts for his theory. This is a lie.
Is it? Well, not according to the National Institute of Health, it's not, Ken. You can say it's a lie as often as you want, but the fact remains that anybody with a smartphone or a computer can find this information for themselves and verify it.
Those are not gills like a fish. Those are folds of skin. They develop into glands in the ear and bones in the throat. They have nothing to do with breathing. Nothing to do with breathing like a fish, okay?
Unless, of course, you are a fish. Well, there you have it, folks. Kent Hovind proving once again that he's a complete moron. I'm sorry, but that's exactly what he is. What sort of idiot makes videos claiming that every single person who teaches or accepts evolution as a fact is wrong or a liar? Which is hugely ironic, to say the least. Kent wouldn't know the truth if it was stuck to the inside of his glasses. Huge thanks to these lovely people, as always, who support what I do via Patreon and channel memberships. And don't forget that starting from January, I'll be using a random name picker to choose one of these lovely people from every video I release. And then at the start of February, or the following month, if I keep doing it, I'll put those names back into a random name generator and pick a winner, who can then pick an item of merch from the merch store. Anyway, I'm not 100% certain what my upload schedule is going to look like over the Christmas period, but I will try to get out as many videos as I possibly can. I hope everyone has an awesome few days off and doesn't overindulge and drink too much. Stay safe, everyone, and I will see you all again very soon. Oh, you're still here then. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe even learned something new. If you did, then you'll probably enjoy this video as well. Don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already, and subscribe if you're new. And I will see you all again very soon, or in a few minutes if you do decide to watch this recommended video. Love you, bye.